Ashton TV, joined by manager Steve Cunningham after exit of the Emirates FA Cup here at Guiseley. Steve, 4 changes, a questionable refereeing performance as well. A difficult afternoon for us.
Yeah, it was more of a frustrating afternoon. I don't think it was a difficult one. I think it wasn't so much a difficult afternoon. It was more frustrating, as I just said, because we've made changes to the team. But I've just said to the lads in there, that shouldn't really interfere with any performance levels. But, you know, if you think, anyone who looks at the team sheet, Sean Newton hasn't played, Darius Asai hasn't played, James Hardy hasn't played, Nathan Lowe hasn't played, Jason Gilchrist hasn't played. Albert still to come back, but when you think 5 of my first starting from the first 4, 5, 6 games of the league, there's a big difference. So then you can't expect the lads to come in who have then come in and perform at the very best level. But then if you're not helped by a certain man in the middle of the park, then I'm not saying we need help, but certainly not one-sided. But I don't think he hampered the result in terms of the way that we played. I don't think we're great today. I don't think the guys who were great. I think they'll be disappointed in the performance, but yet they've come away with winning 3-0. So if you can play poorly and still win 3-0, you're going to be happy. But first half, I thought it was a really sloppy goal to give away. We were poor for the first 15-20 minutes. I think we probably then shaded the last 15 minutes of the first half. Territorially, we were up in their half. We started to put entries in the box and we were getting around dents. But we had a chance on 46 minutes where Darius opens himself up from just near the penalty spot. He's got to hit the target and he doesn't. And at 1-1 at half time, it might be a different story, especially when you've not been playing great. Second half, we came out and I think we started quite brightly for the first 5-10 minutes, and then that's when the referee started to stifle it a little bit. And I think that one of the goals is quite questionable. I'd have to look at the penalty because we thought he'd come from an offside position, but I think Berkey said he might. Hey, there's a dodgy player. Well done though, Reece, well done, pal. But then I think the goals in the second half I'd have to look at. I thought they were quite poor defensive errors, really. Connor did well to make the save, but then it's bounced back to the person closest to the ball, which is the penalty taker. And I've just said to him in there, look, the FA Cup is great for the chairmans, David, Jonathan, all the board members and the fans, because you want memorable days out. You also want to put some money back into the coffers, but I think sometimes you've got to look at a bigger picture. We've gone unbeaten before today in 6 games, and we were going to lose a game sooner or later, and I'd rather lose it in the FA Cup than the league. It's just a nice little reset. And I don't mean to sound bitter or, you know, we've made changes at the start of the game. I even told their manager in there, we've got a big week next week. We're focusing on Morpeth. That's our next biggest game of the season. And I don't mean that in any disrespect to the FA Cup or to the opponents. Would we have took the win? Yes, of course we would. But if I've played my strongest team today and we get beat 3-0, then I'm going to be making a lot of, well, I probably won't be out here as laid back as I possibly am after a 3-0 defeat. I think I feel sorry more for the supporters because they've obviously made the journey over, they've spent the money. But like I said, you've still got to back the players that we played, and we've got some good young players in there. It's a good experience for them, there's a learning curve. But we just didn't play well as well, you know, all over the park, we just didn't play. So it's one of them, mate. We'll lick our wounds a little bit, but not be too disappointed. A lot of teams in and around us in the league have won today. So when they're playing in the FA Cup games, we might be able to play league games. If you win them, you're not playing catch-up like we did last year. So there's always positives to it, mate. Definitely positives from today.
Obviously, you mentioned the refereeing decision there. Benny Couto brought down not giving us the penalty, which was then given for the third, for the Guiseley penalty, which was a lot weaker. But the issue is that it comes from that for their second goal. That goes in at 1-1. It's a completely different game.
I mean, even one of their lads has come up to us and said it's a penalty. You know, there's no doubt about it. So, but I think what I just question is the fact that you've got 6 yellow cards and 2 sending offs from the bench for us and 1 yellow card for them, which their yellow card came in the 85th minute or something like that. And I just think that's poor. I mean, the referee, I'm not saying he cost us our result, but I tell you what, he's the worst official I've ever seen in my life. And the linesman next to their dugout, I thought he was Mark Bauer's best mate, if I'm being honest. Just chatting to each other non-stop, and I like Mark. I mean, there's been a little bit of argy-bargy on the sidelines with players, and that's how we've got people sent off. I like Mark, and I do wish them all the best, but I don't want to sound sour because I know social media goes mad whenever I say something, and I still owe a pint for the guy at Blythe because he called me a sour CUNT. So, but I'm certainly not bitter towards them. They were the better team on the day, and they've won 3-0. But I just think the referee didn't help in any sort of situations where you're thinking, well, come on, mate. There's two teams, but like I said, I don't think that detracts from the actual result. I think they deserve the 3-0. So, you know, we wish them all the very best, and we crack on to Morpeth next week.
Obviously, it means a 3-weeker as we all breathe a sigh of relief to that. No midweek game for the Robins. A full week to prepare for Morpeth on Saturday at Hurst Cross, but then it's straight back into it with Macclesfield away, and the potential of Whitby having to go to a replay against Mosley.
Yeah, I could do with. Did it finish 1-1?
2-2.
2-2. I could do with Mosley winning that.
We all could.
Yeah, I don't want to be going to Whitby on a midweek game. So if Nathan's watching this interview, get beat pal, there's a pint here for you. And there's
and Fishy as well.
And Fishy, well, he'll be getting a phone call from my chairman. There's a win bonus coming if they can win. So. But no, I think it is nice to be able to just go into training next week. We need to rest up. We need to have a fun week. Listen, these lads have been absolutely brilliant. We sit in the league table right now, joint top on points. So I'm looking at that and thinking, I'd rather be joint top of the league and out the FA Cup and still be happy, knowing that we were at our very best today. We've got players to come back. We're in a really good position and a really good place at the moment as a football club. So disappointed because I know that the chairman's always like winning and I feel for them. But all I'll do is I'll just make a promise to him now on TV. The prize money would have got today if we win it. I'll just go and find a sponsor and bring that back in. So now I'm going for a pint.